So today it is all about the flower seeds for the flower farm. So we've retreated to the shed because it's raining a lot today, and it's kind of that really fine rain that doesn't feel like you're getting wet, but then you actually get absolutely soaked to the skin. So we've come into the shed, and I'm going to take you through the 10 flower seeds we're growing this year on the flower farm. And I should say that this is year 1 of our flower farm and cutting garden. So I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of running this entire sort of flower business. And it means that I've niched down with my flower seeds. So I'm not doing as many as I might want to do. Although if you wait to the end, there are a couple of extras that I just couldn't help. And also I haven't bought vast numbers of seeds either, because I don't know what's going to sell and I don't know what's going to do well. So I've kind of tried to spread my luck over several different varieties and several different types of flower. And then I'll see what does really well this year in terms of selling and growing, and then I can maximize that in year 2. So number 1 is, of course, the cheery, beautiful, summery sunflower. Now I bought 3 types of sunflower, all from Mole's Seeds. They don't come with pictures, so I can't show you pictures, so we'll just have to wait until the summer. I've brought, so sunflower F1 Pro Cut Plum. So as you can suggest from the name, it is a plum coloured sunflower, very, very pretty. I've got a good old staple Sunrich Orange. And then I have sunflower F1 Sunrich Lemon. I think all of these are pollen free. I tried to get pollen free ones, and I've got 100 seeds in this one, 100 seeds in this one, and 100 seeds. I've got 300 seeds. Sunflower seeds are quite expensive. I will probably use these as kind of my staple sunflowers, and then I may run out to a local garden centre and just grab a few packets of bog standard yellow sunflowers just to add, because actually 100 or 300 sunflowers isn't really that many. If you're especially if you're selling them in bunches of 10, you've basically got that's only 30 bouquets there. So I will go and get some more of these, but these are the flowers, these are the varieties that I'm kind of concentrating on. So number 2 are zinnias. I love zinnias because they are so easy. And you start cutting blooms, and then every time you go out, there are more blooms coming, and it just seems absurd how many flowers that a zinnia can make. So I've got 3 varieties of zinnias. They were all from Sarah Raven. This is a pale zinnia mix, which I think is, let's take my head out, there we go. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Then we have a giant dahlia mix. So they're a zinnia, but they're a giant dahlia mix, so I guess they look more like long stem dahlias, very pretty. And then I have a Sprite mix, which are slightly smaller zinnias. But again, as the picture displays, they look wonderful in a little bouquet. So I'm excited about these. How many seeds are in each of these? 50, 30, and 60. So 140 zinnia seeds. Again, I probably underestimated actually how many seeds, because I wasn't thinking in terms of bouquet. So when I did that quick sum with the sunflowers, I said, oh, I've got 300 seeds, but actually in bouquets of 10, that's only 30 bouquets. And that's dependent on every single one of those seeds coming up, growing, and offering you a beautiful sunflower. So I might not have bought enough. But never mind, that just means I can go and buy more. So that's our zinnias. Number 3 is Snapdragon. So I bought the Snapdragons from 2 different places, Mole Seeds again, and from Sarah Raven, and I bought 3 different varieties. It was really difficult to find a nice white, so that's why I ended up going to Mole Seeds, and it's Potomac White, and I've got 100 of those seeds. Then there are a couple of, some of the newer varieties of Larkspur are actually really expensive in terms of the seed, and again, because it's the first year, and I don't know what's going to grow well, and I don't know what I'm going to like, and I don't know how much effort and labour it's going to take to grow these things. I didn't want to buy any specialised varieties that are expensive more expensive than more generalised versions for year one. So these were kind of the two bog standard Snapdragons I could find. This is Night and Day, which when I say it's a bog standard, I still think it's utterly beautiful. And then I've got a pink one as well. It's called Apple Blossom. Again, really, really pretty. And then if these do, and with all the seeds, if these do particularly well this year, so if say the larkspur is particularly wanted by people, then next year I will grow more varieties and I will also get more colour varieties, and I will be willing to spend more money on the seeds. So again, for these, well, for these I've got tons of seeds. So each of these packets has 750 seeds. And this is 100 seeds. So there should be some good flowers coming of those. Now, number 4 is Dahlias. And I need to tell you a little honest story about my old Dahlia bulbs. They were grown in tubs last year. So what I did was I pulled all the tubers out and I put them in a big plastic tub to grow on and then pot out. And we obviously thought we would be up here a lot earlier. So I left that tub with those plants growing in it. That tub with those plants growing in it is still at our old house. Which means those dahlias are almost certainly dead, because not only has that tub got no drainage holes in it, because they were supposed to be just in the conservatory until they were then moved out and potted on, they've been out all winter. So I fully expect that those dahlias, and I'm not talking vast quantities, I'm talking maybe 20 to 30, are all going to be dead, which is a bit stupid, but you know, life gets in the way and these things happen. But, however, I was inspired by Serena over at You Can't Eat the Grass, who grew dahlias from seed. And I just thought, really? You can grow them from seed? And they're going to flower in year one? And yes, they do. So, mole seeds, I have picked up 2.5 grams worth. So that's about 1,000 seeds, I think. And they're cactus flowered mixed. So it's a completely mixed batch. I don't know what colours they'll be, but they'll be the kind of the cactus spike flowers. I'm really interested to see how these work. I will probably buy some tubers. I went to buy some animal food this morning and there was this delicious taunting display of dahlia tubers. So I probably will end up buying some extra varieties, especially as these are all cactus. And I really like some of the open flowered ones as well for wildlife and for pollen. So I'll probably get some extras, but I'm excited to see how dahlias grown from seed can be. Number 5 is Amaranth. Now I'm sorry, but Serena and Ian at You Can't Eat the Grass have a lot to answer for, because I've been watching their flower farm for the past few years and it always looks fantastic, and I just can't help but buy and be inspired by stuff that they grow. So, which is why we have Amaranth. And we've got 4 different varieties. They are from Sarah Raven. So the first up we have Green Giant, which I think is a cool looking plant. Then we have Red Army, also known as Love's Lies Bleeding, which, isn't that cool? I think in an arrangement that will just be stunning because of the contrast you'll be able to make. Then we have Hot Biscuits. And then we have Coral Fountain. And now these are a lot of seeds. So there's 750 of these, 500 of these, 1,000 of those, and 1,000 of those. So I think they are going to be, they're going to last me a while, and I'm excited to grow these and see how they work out. Number 6 are the beautiful, quintessentially English cornflower. I love cornflowers, but I've always had difficulty growing them and getting nice, strong, upright plants. They tend to flop, and then I just have cornflowers, but they're all over the ground. And I'm wondering whether that's just due to lack of light. So I'm excited to grow them in a bigger farm-based area to see how they can do. So again, these came from Sarah Raven. There's 3 varieties. There's this Red Boy, which I think is more pink than red, but it's very pretty. Then there's Blue Boy, which I agree is bluish, but I would also say it's on the kind of purpley lilac spectrum. Maybe that's just my weird colorise. And then there is Black Ball, which I think is phenomenal. And I'm very excited to grow that. Again, each of these, actually this is 500 seeds, and then we've got 300 seeds each of these. So tons and tons of flowers. I'm going to start planting them next month actually. It's almost February, so these are going to start going in to be germinated. Okay. I've got a few quail in here. They got beaten up. So they've come in here for a little bit of a respite because they got, it's the first time I've ever had any quail get really beaten up badly. But they've been in there a couple of days and they're getting better. Number 7 are herb flowers. Now I love herb flowers as a way to bolster and make your bouquets smell even better. So we've got 2 basil plants I've got basil lemon, which will just offer that beautiful scent. And then we've got basil red boza. So again, it will smell of basil, but it's red and the flowers are fantastic. We're also going to do some parsley flowers and any of our other herbs that kind of go to flower and use them in the bouquets. Number 8 is sweet peas. Now these sweet peas are going to be a complete and utter surprise. There were 3 or 4 varieties I've been growing for years at the old house. They were just growing up trellises in the front garden, and before we moved, Sab went out and harvested loads of seeds and I grew them. So we really have no idea what colour they're going to be. Now sweet peas aren't really a high value crop because they're so prolific, and people don't expect to have to pay a lot of money for bouquets of sweet peas, especially because they don't last that long. They smell amazing, but once they're picked they don't last that long in the vase. So they're kind of going to be more of a perfume inviter crop. And what I mean by that is people will see them, they'll be like, oh, sweet peas, yeah, let's pick up a few sweet peas on the cheap. And then they may then start to think about, once they've come to the stand, oh, actually, let's get this bouquet for £10 as well, because it's nice. But I'm excited to grow these. I've got, well, how many is in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 24 pots in here, so I must probably have about 50 pots, each with 4 plants in it. So we've got about 200 plants. So I'm excited to see what they produce. Number 8 is Ranunculus. Now I potted my Ranunculus claws or corms on probably November, I think, and they're out here under plastic. I haven't had a particularly fantastic germination rate from them. I think some of it was due to rot, some of the pots just got too wet, and also it's been quite cold, and I probably should have put them into the ground maybe a month or so earlier so they had a bit of heat to get going first. I've got a good amount of growth coming up from these plants here. I think these are my pink ones, and they are still coming up, so I'm hoping that as the weather improves we will get some more corms coming into life, and I'll just have some plants ahead of others. I started with 4 colours: pink, red, white and yellow. None of the yellow have appeared at all. I think they all rotted off. I've got half maybe of my white, and then my pink and my red have done really well. They are starting to get some root growth in the bottom of the pots now. So actually they can start to go into the ground in the next month or so, but they will still need to be covered because February, March can have some awfully cold temperatures. Number 10 are Gladioli or Glads. Now I don't have anything to show you for this because they're not getting sent out to me till the spring. I've just ordered 75 bulbs of a mixed colour variety bag, just to see how they do in my ground, see how they do with flowers and see how they sell. And then if one colour sells particularly more than others, then next year what I'll do is I will order a batch of that specific colour. Because they're a bulb, they're not going to be going in till the spring anyway, so I think the shipment is due to come out in end of February, beginning of March, and then I can start to get those into the ground. And number 10 is Rebecca. Now I love to have some perennial flowers around because although the majority of cut flowers tend to be annuals, they do require a lot of work. Whereas a perennial, once you've grown it into a relatively large hardy shrub, it's just going to flower year on year on year with little to no effort, and you're not going to have to replace it either. So unlike things like zinnias where I have to buy in new seeds every year and then sow them and pot them up and grow them on, with things like Rudbeckia, once they've grown into good plants, they will just flower repeatedly every year. So I've got 3 varieties, and they probably won't offer many blooms this year because, again, they're going to be little plants. It'll probably be 2022 that they really start to shine. I've got Feeling White. These are all from mole seeds. So I've got Feeling White. There's 50 seeds of that. I have got Rudbeckia Purpurea Purple. And then I have the nice Rudbeckia Fulgida Gold Stern. So a yellow, a purple, and a white. And of course there are some extra flowers that I couldn't help resist. So the first is Nasturtium. And of course these are not for the flower farm, these are for the market farm, and they're an edible flower that I can add to salads, so I'm excited to be growing some of these. We also have some straw flowers, also known as paper daisy. These came from Chiltern seeds. Again, this is a mixed batch of colour, so it's kind of a sow them, pot them up and see what you get. And also I could not have a flower farm without some Gomphrena, also known as Globe Amaranth. I found it quite difficult to get hold of these. They were very limited, a lot of places sold out, and I wanted to get a whole dazzling array of colours, and it just wasn't possible. So I've got Gomphrena globosa White, again from Chiltern Seeds. These were the only place that seemed to have any in stock. And then I have Gomphrena globosa Rose. So a pinky red and a white. And I'm just excited to see how these do. I think even in bouquets of that same colour they'll look amazing. And then what we'll do, I'll keep an eye out for more colours and varieties that I can grow next year. I've also got a few more lists on my phone of things that I want to grow in the future. So I've got Honesty, I've got Calendula hydrangea, Jerusalem artichokes as fillers, and Chinese lanterns as well. And I may buy some of those plants throughout the year, but the ones I've listed above are the core flower farm seeds for this year. So I hope it's been interesting to see what seeds I'm growing this year. I'd love to hear what you're growing, especially if it's something different that I've maybe not heard of. I'm going to go and make a cup of tea because, as I said at the beginning, this sort of drizzly rain gets into your bones and makes you feel cold. And then I'm going to think about potting on some sweet peas and dreaming of February, in a couple of weeks' time, mid-February, when I can actually start sowing all of this stuff.